Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me. I am super excited about finding calm, how to navigate through life storms. I'm excited about this opportunity because you took the time out to learn more. My name is Douglas Reed. I am the founder, CEO of Ruach Enterprise, along with my wife, Nari Reed, celebrated author. We equip men and women how to breathe life back into their dreams and their aspirations. We conduct men and women conferences to give them the knowledge and the education and a support system as they step out on faith and be a better version of themselves. I understand challenges. I understand storms. If I would ask you, if you have been through some life storms, I'll say this. Put an S in the chat. Put an S in the chat standing for storm if you have been through some life storm. And the reason why you're here is to learn how to navigate through those storms. I've been through some storms myself. Even with my life experiences, I can only tell you, as a Black man, as a disabled veteran, working inside a federal prison, honestly running my business, we all encounter some kind of storms. See, the storms may occur financially. The storms may occur in your relationships, in your career, even in your health. We all will encounter some kind of storm within our life. I can only tell you about a storm that affected me. I was a soldier and I was stationed in the military. I was stationed in Frankfurt, Germany from 1984 to 1986. When I tell you about this storm, it was a big storm. And the reason why I say that, because during that particular time period, from 1984 to 1986, there was terrorism, the Red Army faction. There were bombs all over Frankfurt, and the three that I remember. One was at the airport, one was at Rhine-Main Air Force Base, and one was at the Frankfurt PX. Now, let me tell you the story. So I remember as a young man, stationed in Frankfurt, Germany, the cabs were Mercedes-Benz. BMWs, Porsches were all over the place. I got the opportunity to purchase my first BMW, and I was excited. I cleaned it up every day, sparkling clean. And I remember one day that my wife wanted to go, my ex-wife, wanted to go to the post exchange. Actually, we had an argument about it. I wanted to go to the car wash. She wanted to go to the post exchange. I will never forget the day, November 25th, 1985. And this is what happened. I remember actually conceding to go to the post exchange. And while we were at the post exchange, I remember the loudest noise I have ever heard in my life. I remember the crashes. I remember the glass breaking. I remember loud voices. And I remember a man shouting, "Stay calm, do not move." If you know anything about therapy, you know it's fight, flight, or freeze. Freeze was one thing that I was not going to do. Only thing I remember was flight. In that flight, I remember taking my right hand and grasping my wife's hand and leading her out to the door. I remember looking to the left. I remember looking to the right. And what I saw and looking to the right was the biggest fire blaze that I have ever seen in my life at the car wash. I couldn't believe it. So I remember grabbing her and running to the vehicle. We hop in the vehicle. I remember having trouble getting out of the parking lot because of the traffic. People were moving in all sorts of directions, to the left, to the right. And I remember the fear that was inside in my heart and anxiety. My adrenaline was flowing. I remember, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. And we finally escaped. And I remember going home and just sitting there and thinking to myself, what just happened? And I recall eventually seeing it on the news days after. 11 people were injured. Nobody was killed, but could have been me at the car wash. That was a life storm. But the thing that reminds me of that is the fact during that time, I didn't get any help. I didn't know how to deal with that life storm. I would say 25 years I dealt with that storm until I went to therapy. I went to therapy and it actually changed my life because it got me an opportunity to deal and approach that trauma, life storm. But there was one thing that I did in my own self-study that I want to share with you that will change your life. There was this thing about wellness. Because see, when we go through life storms, there's adrenaline, there's stress, there's the challenges, the anxiety, there's fear. So I came across something about the 8 dimensions of wellness. And in that life study, I discovered how to regulate my thoughts, how to control my emotions, how to take better care of me through self-care. But I want to express that to you. Because along with that, which I will share later, I'm going to give you something in reference to those 8 dimensions of wellness, but I'm going to give you a resource, a real life experience by my co-founder. She's going to let you know how to adjust your crown and move forward through life storms. See, we are a team. And with that team, we can accomplish anything. So what was that thing about wellness and being able to regulate and navigate through life storms? And I'll share them. I'll give you the abbreviation, a letter for you to identify with. So if we think about our finances, if our money is not right, we are tight. So you have to learn how to budget your money. You have to learn how to control your impulses in regards to shopping. You got to balance, I would say a checkbook, but you got to balance a statement online. You have to create generational wealth for your children. See, when I grew up, there was one thing my mom told me. You have needs and you have wants. Only buy what you need. And that was my first class of financial literacy. So what I'm telling you in the financial wellness, those are the aspects that you have to learn to manage your money. And everything that I tell you, all these dimensions that I tell you are interwoven with each other. So let's take P for your physical. We all know about physical. We work out. You probably made New Year's resolution. I'm going to work out more. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to be a better, 3 days a week. I'm going to get a trainer. All that is well and dandy. But what about what you eat? What about putting the right fruits and vegetables into your body? What about just creating an atmosphere that is safe for you? What about your physical appearance and how you carry yourself? What about if we took all of those elements on working out, eating right, and maintaining our boundaries? How could we navigate that storm? Well, we can actually find calm because we're working out stress in our activities and our workout. See? Everything goes in together because now we move forward with the O, which we call occupational wellness, because now it is about how happy are you at your job, your workplace. Are you happy there? Is this the job that you went to college for? Or is this the job that you sat down lay down in your bed dreaming, this is the perfect job that I want? Are you happy at that job? How are your coworkers? Or is there a career path that you see for the future? That you want to do this for the rest of your life? Do you want to be an entrepreneur? Do you want to step out on faith and those passions and dreams that you had as I talked about those conferences? Are you ready to breathe life into your dreams and your aspirations? To find calm in that situation, to navigate through life's storms. And see, even at your job and that occupational wellness, there's a place that you have to think about, and that's your social environment. How's your friends? How's your network? How are you interacting with people? How are you interacting? How are you interacting on social media? Are you interacting so much that it's raising your blood pressure? Are you getting frustrated? Are you getting pissed off? Are you making comments on social media that you shouldn't? Where's the accountability? So your social environment plays a factor on how you operate, and one that I hold deep to my heart, and that's our spiritual wellness. Because we have to understand that there's a higher power. There's a higher power that you have to be connected with. There's a higher power that helps you understand your beliefs and your values. There's a higher power that gives you purpose. And how do you do that? Meditation, prayer, reading material that gives you the knowledge and understanding of that higher power. See, that's on your spiritual level. I hold close to my heart because I want to be closer to God. I pray that you do too. But if you don't, I understand your spiritual wellness. You have to understand that there's a higher power. And then we talk about our intellect. I say I for intellect, because we have to remain teachable. We have to be in a position that we understand that our knowledge, nobody can take away from us. You have to read books. You have to educate yourself. You can't listen to anybody else, but you're able to make the judgment to make a decision from things from your experience, from your education, and from your knowledge. Then you have to exercise what they call that right side of your brain, that creativity part. You have to be able to, that craft or that instrument that you wanted to play or that hobby, that's the atmosphere that you want to create, because you never want to be in a position to never stop learning. We remain teachable. Even in this thing that we call life and finding the calm and how to navigate through life's storms, you have to find that storm. See, not only will you survive this storm, you will dance in the rain. Because now with the knowledge and the intellect that we have, what we find out that there's no losses, there's lessons to learn, to gain the experience on how to handle the next storm. You got to catch that. See, even in that, your intellectual wellness, you have to be accountable. And see, with that, we talk about our emotions. No, I'll say that for next. We talk about our environment. Are you in an environment where you feel safe? Are you in an environment where there is security? Do you have a sense of belonging where you can relax? Is it a safe place? See, when we think about environments, we think about going green. I get that part. But when I think about environment for myself, and I want you to take an account, I think about nature. I think about walking in a park where it's quiet and I can hear the leaves. I can actually hear the squirrels moving in and about. See, I think about nature nature for me, watching the sunrise or the sun come down brings a whole new level of peace. The beauty of a sunrise. That's when I talk about your environment. You ever thought about your environment where you saw you was at a golf course and you seen the greens, or maybe it was a lawn? Take your shoes off and walk in that grass. Be in touch with your environment. But see, when environment, one of the things that I say is nature, and you got to feel safe. Now, the emotions. Emotions are the big, because your emotion and your emotional wellness plays a big factor. Only because I want you to understand that your feelings are valid. There may be some inadequacies at times, but your feelings are valid. What you feel and express is valid. People might not understand it, but it's your feelings. So one of the things you have to do is you have to learn emotional intelligence on how to relegate those emotions, how to actually have a system that you can control your emotions, have a system where you have coping mechanisms to take a deep breath. I remember back in the days, he said, take a deep breath. But the thing is, we had to implement that and we had to activate that. Even in your job, do you let your emotions get the best of you with a coworker? Do you let your emotions get the best of you in your relationships, in your marriage? I give you one tip. One tip, and of course, I told you I'm going to give you something at the end that I want you to tap into. But one thing I want to give you, in regards to your emotions, if you're able in a relationship, if you are able in your relationship to have a conversation where there's communication, when somebody has to be the adult, even if y'all disagree, and you express the fact to your partner or your wife or your spouse, the simple fact of what you said hurt my feelings. That was the reason for me. I've been in a lot of platforms. One of the biggest platforms I was on, and I'll express this to you. I was a former director of an organization called Black Men Heal. They actually give free therapy to Black men. Their motto is heal men, heal men. I never understood it till I went through the therapy. And what I found out, that my feelings were valid. What I found out was my ability to show my emotions and yet still be able to express myself. And what I found out, that took me a while, because I'm a former soldier. I was so rigid you wouldn't believe. So what I found out, and I had to trust, and I had to actually bring into myself, was my vulnerability. And being comfortable to express that I was vulnerable. See, when I think about those things that I just expressed to you, and finding calm, how to navigate through life storms, all those plays a factor. See, your finances, your physical, your occupational, your social, your spiritual, your intellect, your environment, and your emotions. They play a factor on your well-being, how you control your emotions, how you control yourself, how you take care of yourself, how you eat better. See, the three that are most important to me out of that is my spiritual. Because I identify, I want to be the best version of me, understanding that I was fearfully and wonderfully made, that I'm here for a purpose. And I can be spiritual for a moment because I want to give God all the glory. Then the intellect, because now I read more books now than ever before, because there's so much chaos that's going on. Whether I read the Bible, autobiographies, or something that I'm passionate about, even in my business to learn more, I read books. And then it's my emotions. I will call them she. not S-H-E, S-I-E, because you're spiritual, your intellect, and your emotions. And I told you about this teamwork with my wife. She has a new book out. This is her second book, Royal Resilience. And I want to take this time out because I don't want to get this wrong. I want to take this time out to let you know that this book demonstrates how you can overcome challenges with grace, strength, and a sense of regal self-worth, reclaiming your dignity and confidence even after difficult times, perfectly aligns with spiritual growth and aspirations. So regardless of the challenges and trials you have encountered, there is hope. Your crown. She talked about adjusting your crown. Your crown may have been battered by unprovoked or unforeseeable storms, but it is still on your head. God might be preparing you for a greater future. When I talk about this crown, I'm talking it for kings and queens. So this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you this number. And I need you to write it down. Write this number down because I need you to call me. I know you can email me. You know, there's websites, but I want you to call me personally. I want you to call me. And if I don't answer, I want you to shoot me a text and tell me that you're interested. Because what I want to do is first, I want to get a free study guide about the 8 dimensions that I mentioned. I want to get that study guide to you because it may change your life. It changed mine because it gave me a sense of self-worth. It gave me a sense of discipline, and it gave me a sense of my boundaries and how to relegate those things in my life, understanding that they're interwoven with each other. I'm going to give you that free study guide. And along with that, I want you to do one more thing. I want you to do one more thing. I want you to purchase this book, Royal Resilience, Adjusting Your Crown at the Life Storms by Nairi Reed. I told you she was a celebrated author. That's because I celebrate her. I'll say it again. If you're interested in this book, I want you to put a Y for yes in the chat. If you're interested in this book, Royal Resilience, Adjusting Your Crown, whether king or queen, adjusting to life's storm. And you want to know how I find calm, how to navigate through life storms? Because I am familiar with this study guide and 8 dimensions of wellness in this book that will change your life. You've never come across a life story like this ever before. You think you had storms. You'll be able to identify with this storm. You'll be able to have some kind of empathy because of this storm. But everything that I've said, you're going to take it, and you stay tuned for the men's and women's conferences, because everything that I'm telling you, you are now connected to me. You are now connected to Nairi Reed. You are now connected to Ruach Enterprise. I want you to understand. And if you need an email, my number is, write this down, 609-332-4659. Douglas Reed, 609-332-4659. And my email, write this down, write it down. My email's info@Douglas, Douglas, my middle name, Marvelous, Reed, REED.com. That's info@DouglasMReed.com. I need you to tap into it. And that book, along with the book and the study guide. I'm going to offer it today for $25. You can't get that. A study guide and how to navigate through life storms, understanding that this thing of holistic approach in regards to your well-being for you to be a better you, and a life experience book that you can experience to see the storm that this young lady actually went through to be a better version of herself and how she beat the odds. $25, you can't beat that. You can't beat that. But I need you to tap in. And one thing I'm going to leave you with, one thing I have to leave you with, by Maya Angelou. She said, people will forget what you said. They will even forget what you did. But they will never, ever forget how you made them feel. And I hope you got the opportunity to feel the passion that I had in making you a better you, to give you the resources that educate you about finding calm, how to navigate through life's storms. There's one thing I say, let's go, baby. Peace. I'm out. Thank you.